I'm very pleased to share this video showing structured word inquiry in Scott Caldwell's Grade 1 class in a Kingston public school. You'll see clips from a session in which Scott integrates spelling, reading, and vocabulary instruction. Scott draws on the text of a story they had been reading to look for grapheme phoneme correspondences and morphemes they've been studying and collecting on wall charts during the year. Not only does Scott use familiar text to target spelling structures, he uses familiar spelling structures to focus children's attention on novel vocabulary. Watch how effectively these young students demonstrate their knowledge of digraphs and trigraphs by spelling them out loud.
In a moment, I'm going to give you a copy of this page that's up on the screen. I'm going to give you a big copy of it. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to look carefully at the words on the page. And I'm going to give you a copy of this page as well. And you're going to do two jobs, two sort of word detective jobs. The first part is I want you to read the text. So I'm going to get you to read the story again. And I want you to try this word with me.
Highlight.
Highlight. Good for you. Highlight letter teams that you find. And so,
What does highlight
well, I'm just going to show you. These markers that you've got, thank you for leaving them where they are called highlighters. When I use them on text, they show through. So what letter team could I highlight in this word here, in the word read? Adriana? EA is a letter team. What sound is it making, Adriana? It says E. And so what I'm doing, oops, and I went a little bit onto the D, but I'm highlighting that. I've gone over it with some color to show that I found a letter team. Can someone tell me another letter team that they spot up here in this? Tawheed?
TA.
Thanks for not shouting out. TH, can you tell me what the word is? Is it this one here?
Yeah.
What word is that? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
The. Okay. So yeah, you can take your highlighter and highlight it. Yeah.
I couldn't hear the question.
Riemann just noticed that highlight is two words put together. Does anyone remember what those are called? Ryan? Compound words. What are the two words? Do you want to spell it for us, Riemann? Good, but you have to use your big I'm making an announcement voice, please.
Watch how this student conveys their clear awareness of the graphemic and morphemic structure of this compound word just by announcing the trigraph IGH as a unit and by pausing between the two base words.
H, IGH, L, IGHT.
Good for you. Did she do it? Awesome. Yeah, two IGHs.
Do you remember how Scott prompted the student to process and announce the graphemes and morphemes in the word highlight? All it took was an invitation to spell the word. In Scott's Grade 1 class, spelling words out loud brings with it the assumption to look for familiar graphemes and morphemes. They're good at this linguistic task because it is a regular everyday activity. Note how the students nail the status of IGH as a thing or a unit by spontaneously celebrating the fact that there are two of these IGHs in the word.
So there. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, two IGHs. There they are. High plus light. Good for you.
Okay, so what letter team did you find there?
TH.
TH, excellent. For what word?
The.
Okay, and I see you've done an EW. Hey, you listen here because she's found one of the same letter teams you found. But she found it a different word. What word is that?
No.
Flew. Okay, so can you spell it for me?
FLEW.
Beautiful. And so your letter team there, EW, is for oo. And what's this word?
Out.
And spell it for me?
OUT.
That's wonderful. Flew out. Excellent. And you found another one here too. Excellent. Now I liked, what is this one? What's that word?
High.
Okay, and spell it for me?
HIGH.
You got it. So what's the IGH representing?
I.
You got it.
Notice the student had no problem answering my question, what does IGH represent in the word high? She clearly understands that IGH is just one way to write I, what I could call the long I vowel phoneme. After students identified digraphs and trigraphs in the text Scott handed out, they moved to analyzing some of the words they found with word sums. Integrating the motor memory involved with writing out graphemes and morphemes with spelling out these structures in word sums is a way to burn these reliable word structures into learners' long-term memory. If our teaching helps learners construct strong representations for graphemes and morphemes, they should be easier for students to recognize during reading. This is one reason I recommend explicit handwriting instruction targets the graphemes and morphemes that are being investigated in class. In this next scene, I was so impressed with this grade 1 student who noticed the ng digraph in the ing suffix of the word jumping. Unfortunately, my pronunciation of the phoneme ng is poor, but the student clearly has learned this digraph that many adults do not even know about.
I saw NG. There's
So what? That's a letter team for ng. Excellent. So you could highlight that in your page. Now, what is the base of jumping?
jump. Jump.
Can you spell the base for me?
J-U-M-P.
Excellent. So what we do for a reverse word sum is you make your arrow, and now I need you to spell out J-U-M-P as you write it.
J-U-M-P.
Okay, now you put a plus sign. And what is the suffix that we need for jumping?
I-N-G.
Could you write that? Excellent. And so you've got a word sum, and you are really smart because you've also recognized this letter team NG for ng that you hear at the end of jumping. Excellent. Go for it.
After class, I asked Scott to walk me around his room so that I could show you the everyday background work that supports this kind of grade 1 word knowledge.
Came to IGH. You know, we had done a whole investigation of words that they had hypothesized had GH.
Yeah.
And then we did this whole
remember
thing.
that
I told
story,
you
yeah.
about that. So then we said, oh, now we've got another way of representing that, and we could add it up here.
And you could see that in today's class how easy it was for kids to say IGH. Like it was a totally logical thing for them to do.
Yeah.
Which is, and I see you have enough over there. So having done the IGH, it's going to be this investigation that's obviously started anyways is going to build on that idea.
Yeah, and they were right there.
As Scott discussed the process of developing these morpheme charts and grapheme-phoneme correspondence charts, he emphasized that one goal that guided him was the determination to create what he called a living document. These reference charts were not just supposed to be used by the students, but also constructed with the help of their own discoveries. Scott's success for this goal could not have been more clearly illustrated than with his last scene that was the highlight of the day for me. Hours after our original session, I returned to Scott's class to pick something up, and two students instantly approached me to share something. They discovered an EY digraph while reading a book after our class. Consider how the everyday attention to the existing structures within words sparks young children to make discoveries. See the pride these students show in sharing their discovery of this digraph and the fact that they got to add an example of a new digraph to their classroom chart. Scott teaches in such a way that students see themselves as contributors to the learning in their classroom, not just there to learn what they're told. Let's give these word sleuths the last word.
You were reading this book on your own after our class? Okay, and what did you see?
We saw chimney.
Okay, and
There was
what about
EY.
chimney grabbed your attention?
We saw EY, and it said E. We've never saw that.
You never saw that before, and so you looked over here on your word wall chart. And so where did you look? Where did you look to see if you had it?
We looked in the E section.
The E section, okay.
We had EY.
And somebody had just added monkey.
Yeah, monkey.
And now you've added chimney.
Chimney.
That's very nice. So we've got a new grapheme on the wall because you were reading your book and you thought of it. That's
It was
wonderful.
his book.
In his book, right? Okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much.
Want to take a picture?